strong and a healthy relationship require a dedicated effort, a willingness to learn some essential skills and attitudes, and the ability to change and grow over time. Too many relationships fall apart nowadays because people take them for granted or don't pay attention to them all the way. The question we are asking is why the relationships fall apart today. Why are they breaking up? That's the question we are asking. And the program is Turn Up. We have invited just the right person to talk about this very important subject. Just stay with us. It's another exciting edition of your program, Turn Up on CANAL English, a program that seeks to empower women and the girl child. And today we focus on relationship problems. We are looking at most common reasons for relationships to break up today. If you want to watch the program or you want to say your reactions, you can say your reactions on the number you'll be seeing on your TV screens. You can equally tag us on Facebook, YouTube. You just need to type Ndih Turn Up and watch all our past editions. I'm sure you're around. So you want to know who our guests are. You do that just after the jingle. We'll be right back. And welcome back. I earlier said we have invited just the right people to talk about this problem about relationships. Now, what's so bad about our relationship today? Why do they not last for a long time? Why do our relationship collapse these days? We have Pastor is it Tanto Kenneth? You're a pastor, you're equally a marriage counselor. Now, for how long have you been doing this?
I've been a pastor for 13 years today.
Okay.
And then marriage counseling, call it 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when I look at your face, it's like, it's a young face I'm seeing in front of me. So when you talk about 13 years, that you started at a very tender age, or you got a call when you're still very, that teenage age?
Not teenage age. I think I was in the university at the time. Which,
okay.
Yeah, so maybe I just look physically young. Not the age.
Now, how do you blend the two? Pastor, marriage counsel.
And I even have some secular engagements too. So I try to put one and two together to see that at all fronts I deliver.
Okay.
So it's challenging, but it's within reach.
It's quite challenging.
It's quite challenging.
All right. We also have Move For Clementine. It's the first time I'm having her on the show. She's quite, she's a pretty lady. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Maureen. Thank you.
Relationship counselor. Now, how did it start? Why did you decide to become a relationship counselor?
It's a long story. First, relating with myself is an issue. And relating with the next person is another thing, because there are always expectations.
Okay.
And then it couples now with my marriage, my neighborhood, family, money, my expectations, my vision, my purpose. It's all about relationship. So I had to pay attention.
Okay. Does it mean that why you decided to focus on that is because you saw maybe marriages or relationships had
everything has to do with relationship.
Okay.
Everything in life has to do with relationship. Okay. Then now when it talks about couples, it's a whole complete new ball game.
All right. Now we're talking about relationships today, and we're talking about why a relationship collapsing. Why are they failing? Now, but I think we need to start by defining what a relationship is all about, Pastor.
I think relationship will simply define, or could be, you could look at it from the angle of interactions which might be, maybe constant between two persons or more.
Okay.
Yeah, relationship interaction between two or more persons, which so often could be perpetual and with a defined purpose.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll have different types of relationships.
Different types of relationships.
But the one we're talking is we have a specific type of relationship we're talking about.
We're talking things that are either premarital or marital in nature.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about here today. Now, how do you define a relationship?
How did I find relationship? I've been in a relationship, legal relationship, and it came to a lot of intricacies. It had a lot of ups and downs. The things you thought you knew very well, you start discovering you didn't know. The person you think you knew so well begins to turn out to be a total stranger.
Okay.
And then a lot of things that used to be very compatible became so uncompatible, so unfriendly. The things that you used to enjoy together became very unfriendly.
Okay.
Now, that's the relationship issues people face these days. Like you're asking, the topic for today is actually on why do relationships fail today?
Okay. So, but I want to ask now, when you look at society today, Pastor, now what do you say? What have you noticed about relationships?
Yeah, as we've said, delimiting the scope of relationships to marriage. In fact, it is there is much to be worried about as far as relationships are concerned. You see, the divorce rate is on the rise. You see young people who begin a relationship planning to marry, all of a sudden it no longer works. You see people who remain in a relationship because if they separate, what will people say?
Of course.
So at the end of it all, you find that people end up in relationships rather than enjoying themselves. They endure through a relationship of which it wasn't supposed to be so. Okay. Yeah, it's not supposed to be so.
So now when you look around, you see a lot of people suffering in the relationships, or they don't, in short, they're experiencing, I mean, a lot of
you know, unmet expectations, coupled with a lot of pain and disappointment and bitterness and all forms of negative energy that is being released because people are relating with one another. You know, human beings are social beings and they are seldom predicted. It is very difficult to predict. So at a certain point in time, as Clementine said, it is difficult to really get exactly to know that this person whom I thought in the past was this person is really this person I'm seeing before me.
It's difficult to predict.
It's difficult to predict.
Like you see a man before you say, this is the man I want to marry. This is the quality of the man. I mean, these are the qualities. These are the characteristics.
Yeah, and that is why it is always advisable to take time because you know, at first sight, there can be an attraction. Yeah, you're attracted to persons at
beyond
first sight. But beyond that, there are many other things which are proven over time, are proven by circumstances, are proven by one thing or the other. So that's why the encouragement not to marry in a rush is always very important. Yeah, to you know, to materialize a relationship in marriage, it's good to take time, work some things out, such that if it won't work over time, it should not work. Rather than having a broken
you know, there's this saying people say, I mean, husbands are really hard to find. H2 is taking over me. So I need to just hang on a man. If this man leaves me, what's going to happen? Where am I going to go to? So, I mean, we have that problem. We're going to talk about it now. Clementine, when you look at relationships today in Cameroon, let's take Cameroon, let's take Africa. Now, what do you say? What's the general observation?
It's the middle of nowhere. It's an accident going to take place. That's how I have to say. Listen, before we go so far to the already existing relationships, all right, before people get into relationships, they don't even know where they're going to. And people get into relationships for every wrong reason you can imagine in life. Every wrong reason. For beauty, for handsome, for money, for society, for family, for this, for that. Marriage is an institution on its own. And every institution has its norms, rules and regulations that govern it. And to think that there's no institution that actually teaches on marriage, that's already a first problem. And I think one of the reasons why there is no institution is because, like Pastor just said, human beings are social beings. You cannot really know them. Now you ask me, how do I see relationships in Africa, in Cameroon in particular? It's a complete confusion.
How?
Because people are having expectations that can never be met. They go into relationships with expectations that those relationships cannot give them those expectations. You want to say, yes, I do, because you know tomorrow he's going to get you a car, and the very next day he loses his job. The purpose for which you got into that marriage was wrong. And how did you expect it to work?
And it can't work.
It definitely cannot work. This guy is very handsome and this woman is very beautiful. I think we can make beautiful babies. And you give birth to your first child who has a biological handicap. That is where the worst grumbling comes from.
And the blame is always maybe on the woman.
I'm not a feminist. I'm not a feminist. It can be, the men may not say it loud, but it hurts them. The women may speak it out loud, but they are confused from within. All of them are looking for a solution and don't know where to go. The pastors are struggling at their end. They have the gospel to preach out. Marriages are pulling them left and right. Marriage counselors are not even there because it takes time to become a counselor in marriage. Because it's a school that has no governing power you create those governing powers.
All
You
right.
create the rules and regulation based on individuals. There's no one rule that works for two people. So how do you go about it? So seriously, Africa.
Which
we
means that
need to
there's a mad
revisit.
rush for relationships today.
There's a
People just
mad
getting-
rush. There's a mad rush for every wrong reason, and eventually, I don't call it a relationship. I don't call it marriage. I call it cohabiting.
Can we say society made it that way? We have a lot of
Society,
frustration. People think that's the only way, that's the only means for
society,
survival.
yes. The system, the society, the system, yes. Because people think that when a girl gets to 24, 25, 26, if you're not yet married, it's like it's a cursed family.
Okay.
And then when a guy
It's not supposed to be that
it's
way.
not supposed to be that way. Maturity is not in age. It's in the head. It's in the mind. It's in your understanding. It's in your know-how. It's in your relating with you first before going to look for the second party.
Okay.
Because those are two. It's a whole enterprise to manage.
Okay.
An individual is like a full enterprise to manage. Have you prepared your own self before going to look for another enterprise to manage? That is the whole problem that is facing the African relationships these days, because they don't sit back and ask themselves, who am I in the first place? What do I want? And if I want to get married, who should I get married to? Who can fit squarely, that we can fit and blend into each other and make a best of the society? It's not about me, myself, and I. It's about us.
Okay. Now, Pastor, when you look at society today, can we say, let's say cultures, a lot of things is happening, pushing people to get into relationships that, because they want to like please themselves, please inner desires. Can we put it that way?
Yeah, as Clementine has said, the most of the problems with relationships today are foundational. Yeah, it begins from where, at times, two people who could make a very good relationship end up messing themselves up because the rules of the game are not followed.
Yeah.
I want to concur with Clementine that there are, relationships have to do with social beings, so there are no fixed rules. But I want to add that there are basic issues which cut across the board. When two persons have, identified themselves like, okay, they could be in a relationship, it is very important for them to follow certain general norms. Let me take, for instance, when a young man and a lady have found that they could settle in marriage, it is always very important to keep a very low profile. The tendency is the man proposes, and the woman will always say, "I will give."
It's gonna be show off.
Yeah, when the woman says, "Okay, give me a short while to think over it," or Christians will say to pray over it, and she finally accepts the man's proposal. The next of things which I advise strongly is that start premarital counseling.
You need a counsel.
Because when you're about to get married, there are at least two hypotheses. One, you've never been married before, or if you were married before, not to this same person. And every individual is different. So you need to go into this premarital counseling such that some things are worked out in the counseling. And the advice is that in the course of this, the relationship should be kept very low. Because when you start putting one another's photo on social media profiles and start, calling sweet names and making it, so broadcasted everywhere.
Make it go viral.
At the end of it, some people like, okay, let me remain in this relationship because I won't have what. I won't know what to tell people when they start asking me, where's my sweetheart? And so the best thing to do is usually to keep a low profile.
Okay.
When you keep a low profile and work in premarital counseling, if it is to work out, I think the two of you and your counselor will be able to see. There are people I've worked in premarital counseling with, and they themselves can know, I think this is not going to work, and they back out. In the course of it all, they see that it can't work, and they back out. It's better a broken courtship or engagement than a broken marriage. It's better. So it is always good to, keep a low profile on it, go gradually and walk in integrity and honor till you settle in marriage.
Which means that, Clementine, for a relationship to be successful, you need a base.
Yeah, I was just going to get back to that because let's not start building the house from the ceiling. Let's start from the zero level. before you even think about getting into marriage or into a relationship, how do you prepare yourself? I'm very definite. That's what the audience wants to hear. That's what they want to know.
So how do you
How
do that?
do I prepare myself? The first thing is I'm a woman, and this is a man.
Okay.
This
He will definitely tell us how maybe a man should prepare.
The man has his world.
Okay.
They have the way they see things. They see they have the way they analyze things. They understand things. They know the way they plan things. A woman has her way, has her life, has her world. Now, me as a woman, you're not just going in to just be a woman. You're going to be a mother. And there's a process to be a mother. There are expectations from that mother to become that full mother. How do you prepare yourself? It has to first come with your composure, self-discipline, integrity for you, self-respect, and being able to respect even the people you are. They are not the people you like, but yet you have to respect them. Because the in-laws you're going to meet, I like to call them ingrates, that you're going to meet will be people, you may not like the shape of their face, but you have to live with them.
And you have to like them.
You not to love them for nothing. Pastor?
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure.
And you as that woman, you are the person that bonds that house. That home is held by the woman. Not the man's money cannot bond that house. Cannot bond that house. So you start by preparing yourself. How then do you prepare yourself? You have nasty characters. Do a personality test on yourself. Are you hygienic enough? Are you that person that litters things left and right? That's one thing relationships cannot hold. If those are the characters that you have and you talk anyhow without a control in your mouth, you have to. If you are too judgmental, that's you work on a personal treatment of your characters, yourself. And then you start asking yourself, now, why do I want a relationship? Is it just for love making? Or are you looking for a relationship just to say I'm one of the misses in town? Or do you have a purpose in life that you know that if I have another person, we're going to blend together to build that vision? Because every relationship that has succeeded is a purposeful relationship. If you're purposeless, you're not going anywhere. You will find fault in everything the other person does. For anybody who has experienced relationship, that's the truth. If you have, even you are just dating and you are not with a clear term of where you're going to, you have issues every other day. Now, before you identify, ask yourself, what do I want to put in this relationship? And the other person who is coming in, would that person blame? Because sometimes it's just about, I love you, you look beautiful, you're handsome, you're educated, you have money. Can you use that money diligently? Can you maintain that handsomeness? Can you connect that this man is nice? Can you maintain that niceness? Because it's nice because he's able to manage himself. The moment you're unable to be with him and manage with him correctly, you will see the other part of him. You see the animal part of him. Likewise, it's with the men. They have their expectations. The women have their expectations. You clear the path clearly. You as the woman, you as the man. What is your purpose for life? Let that relationship, the thing that will keep that relationship going, is your purpose. If you have no purpose, then you don't have a life.
Let's give an example.
For example, this is me and I'm an entrepreneur. All right, I love business and I run this particular organization, and then I want to get married. Right? I'm looking at what kind of relationship can I get into that can furnish this vision clearly. If my vision is a main vision, I need to have a support vision. You can have somebody who probably has the funding that you can better manage. You can fund that project and it runs. You can be looking at somebody who has a mind in business who can help you organize your vision. Because a woman, the mind of a woman is like the roots of a tree, scattered. The ideas just come, they're just there like that. The man has to be there. You need to get a spouse who is able to adjust them. Pick those
Likewise, there are women to also adjust men.
Exactly. But a woman, by nature, they are open.
Okay.
They multitask a lot. But the man is straightforward. So they can, if you have a man, if you're that kind of the person that you're agile. Okay. Now let's get a man that can be able to organize you, your mind, your ideas, and put them constructively so that you can actually become something.
Now we have this tendency of people like hiding their true identity. You might do an auto-critique of yourself. Knowing that, okay, if I do this, I do that, it's going to hurt him. I try to adjust or to have self-control.
Honey, that's not relationship.
Okay.
You're cohabiting. If I want to marry a man, all right, that man becomes me, I become him.
Okay.
There's nothing I want to hide except I just want to, I'm just being a scam. Those are two different things, but a sincere relationship.
So which means that what do you do exactly? Because we're going to come to your pastor. Now what do? You
Be
open up.
sincere with yourself first.
Okay.
Like that, the energies themselves, they relate.
Now, when we talk about sincerity, what are we talking about?
You
You
don't
tell
have
him
to
that this
lie.
is my bank account,
No, don't
this
tell-
is
don't tell
that, this is
him.
that. No, let's talk about it here.
Okay.
Because I think now when you talk about sincerity.
Now look at where you're going to already.
Okay.
To the bank account.
Of course, because
listen.
okay.
Before we get to the bank account,
Okay.
you have somebody you've met and you love very much.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing is you need to understand his vision. What's your purpose for life? What do
All
you
right.
want?
Okay.
What do you want to achieve in life? And then
And you're trying to understand the man in front of you.
Of course.
Okay.
Don't run to the money first, because
Okay.
you both can make money. What do you want to become in life? Do you want to be, some men are very mediocre, some women can be very mediocre. Some
Okay.
you know, you're like, I just want to live my very simple life, have my 2 or 3 children, have my 1 car, my house, I'm okay. And the woman said, but you can grow more than that. This is what I want to become. Do you think we can really blend? Because maybe my expectations are too high. Can we really work? And it's like, but you're making me to think better.
Okay.
Maybe from that 1 car we can go to a 2nd car. It's all right. I think you made me think, hey, wow, I wasn't thinking like that. So if instead of the 1 car, if you can merge and we make it 2, that's beautiful. We don't run to the bank accounts first. The bank account is just a source of trouble. She works, I work. If some men don't even want to know what happens to their women's money and work the same way he was. So likewise, there's some women and some husband and wife that they are so together that you're like, his money is my money, her money is my money. You know, money is not the problem to them, but that issue of right communication. How do we relate in communication? Explain sincerely, and that comes after you've already said I do.
All right. All right,
Not at the
Pastor.
preliminary state.
All right, Pastor, let's get man's point of view on that. Now, how do you prepare yourself for a relationship?
You know, I think Clementine said something very pertinent there, which has to do with goals and visions. When you look at even the initial idea God had before creating or instituting marriage, the Bible says Adam was given an assignment. He was on his assignment. And then at a certain point in time, God saw him discharging it with a lot of enthusiasm and doing it. And God said, I'll get a helper for him.
A helpmate.
A helper. So God got a helper for Adam because he had something doing. So the first of things is, as a man, the man is supposed to have a vision. Where is he going to in life? You need a wife who is supposed to be a helper.
Okay.
What is she going to be helping you?
But the woman should support you in that vision as well.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, at the beginning, how do you know this woman is going to support me in that vision?
You have to be friends before.
It begins first and foremost with the man having a vision. When you have a vision, in the premarital discussions and arrangements, you'll be able to discuss with one another. Like, okay, this is where I'm going to in life. And there is an issue. The issue here is that when a man is, I don't know, how do I put it? I don't want to say ambitious. Is less ambitious. I'm reluctant to use that expression, but permit me use it. When a man is less ambitious than a woman, it is a little dangerous because everything she comes across with will be like, okay, she wants to dominate me. She wants to dominate me. So as a man first begins by identifying why he is alive. What is he born to do? That is his vision. What can he die for? When he's gotten his vision, he also has to prepare his character, because marriage has to do with a lot of character. And as he prepares character, he also has to prepare and build the skills and incorporate in him the fact that when you get married, you don't only end at being a man. You are a husband, you are a father, and then you are the head of a home. It's true, I am one of those who believe that men are just a figurehead. The real manager of the home
is the managers of our women.
Is the woman, but as the figurehead, he kind of sets the tune of the spirit that the home is supposed to have. But he must be somebody, and that has to do with an identity. So as a man, spiritually he has to prepare. He has to prepare as far as his own,
Physical.
his ideas are concerned. For physical looks, those are this comes piecemeal. You may marry a woman with, when you got married to her, a bulging stomach, but she's like, this stomach, we have to work it out so that it gets flat. Or you can
Not that you're leaving that woman for another woman who is slimmer, and no, you work it out with her.
You work it out with her, but for me, there are certain questions that must be handled at the premarital stage before you end up tying the knot. When they're not handled, when you finally are already into the marriage, it's very difficult. Some things are very difficult to sort out. Let me cite an example.
Okay.
I've had people who just an idea of which church you attend and which church I attend, they finally get it so difficult when they are married without sorting this out. It becomes a very big problem because of these doctrinal differences. So at the beginning, these things will appear as if they are minute, but over time, the impact as a standalone, which church I attend and which church you attend may not be a very big issue, but the ramifications that come along with them, they are very dangerous, and they can easily ruin the relationship.
Okay.
Yeah, they can.
So where do you start from? What are the basics? The basics.
The basics for the relationship, or the basics?
Basics for the relationship.
The basics for the relationship is the man sees a woman, because normally as a man, if a woman comes to me that she wants to marry me, I'll run away. So
why would you run away?
I will run away.
Is it difficult for a woman to propose to a man?
It is not.
Can a woman not propose to a man? Can a woman not tell a man that?
Our society is not that way yet. Maybe we may get
Oh,
there someday, but that's not the flow of
So if
things
you have
for
a
now.
woman who tells her,
So-
I'm in love with you, it's you're going to stop
You
that
run
woman.
away.
Yeah, I'm going to run away.
Oh
So
my.
this is-
That's so traditional.
Okay.
Yeah, because okay, I was saying that the man asks the woman's hand in marriage, and the woman gives a feedback.
Okay.
And if this feedback is positive, where it begins, as far as I'm concerned, urgently these two people should start premarital counseling.
But that concept,
Yeah.
the culture of it, is not well known in Cameroon. Let's be realistic about that, Clementine.
That's very true.
How many people go for premarital counseling?
No way. No way. Just a handful, and it's mostly forced by the church.
Okay.
That's mostly forced by the church. I remember we had to introduce that at the level of the Boya Council to see that each person who comes and registers to legalize their marriage, they go through at least a month counseling with me. It's just because stuff happened, and then the project really didn't go, because we realized they signed today, and the next 3 months, fry pan outside, spoons are flying outside. They didn't plan. They didn't know where they were going to. So they don't plan. And then the thing is, how many people really put themselves down now, apart from the pastors, put themselves down to cancel?
That's which means I'll still have a very long way to go
We have
as
a
far
long-
as
a long way to go.
premarital counseling is concerned, or
concerned.
relationship counseling.
Yes.
Now the issue we have there is that people have not yet assigned the value it deserves to it. It is very, very important. You know, there are people
Don't
who
you think they are ignorant too about it?
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, ignorance will be an issue, and then some people will draw
Because ignorance are not giving much interest on it. I think they're two different things.
Yeah, well, but the other side of it would be some people who know it is a good thing to do, but
But they
think
don't just, they ignore it.
they may at times they draw inspiration from, like, these people. I think they never went for counseling and they are doing well in their marriage, and this well is in quotes, because there are many people
No two
who
relationships are the same, right?
there are even many people we see out here, we think they're doing very well, but
They're not.
back inside
They're not.
is getting rotten. Yeah, so it is always good to, give this particular aspect very, very a high coefficient. When you have identified your spouse to be, it is good that these things be worked out. And as I said, time and circumstances prove relationships. There are some people who came with dubious
Reasons.
philosophies, with dubious reasons, and over time they may end up seeing that they just have to back out.
And others don't even back out. They suffer for the rest of their life.
That is it, because if you the idea is, when you tie the knot, when some things are not sorted, sorry, you just have to live with it.
Okay.
But if in the course of the premarital counseling and other things, some things are identified, it is easy to give it an end. And it's better to do that. It's better to remain single than to enter a wrong marriage. You know, because when you marry wrongly, every other thing else just
because the people
going.
think that maybe I can manage the situation. Maybe when I finally get in, I'll get rid with that attitude or whatsoever. People will think that you can just like close your eyes to it. And
There are things you can manage, but there's some that you have to hit the rock,
I sort it out at the
rock.
very beginning of the
You
relationship.
sort them out. If it can't go, you better quit the relationship.
Okay.
Because if you can't quit the relationship looking at the things the way they are, you end up finding out that you only took a step that led you into a personal wilderness.
Okay.
It is very important that some things which appear not to, it's better you sort them out.
All right.
now.
All right, Clementine, which means you set your own personal rules and regulations, the basics of your relationship now. I mean, the foundation. You lay the foundation at the very beginning.
Yeah. I always ask this question. We have a lot of people.
Because I have women who will tell you that, okay, if at the beginning of the relationship you are not yet married, the man gives you like, let's say 3,000 francs, and it drops to 2,000 francs, you take.
I have a
Maybe
problem.
finally when you get into the marriage.
I have a problem with this finance thing.
No, let me just quote it, because those are just the realities I'm bringing. Because most marriages, if you have this money, these financial issues or money, it comes in. We can't hide that.
I was just talking to people who are looking for employment.
Well, let's just
yesterday and today.
Okay.
And I asked them, you want to get recruitment, right? They say yes. And my next question is, what do you have to offer?
Okay.
You want to get into a relationship, right? What do you have to offer?
In the relationship.
Of course. It's an institution. What do you have to offer? Of course. You need to prepare yourself.
Now, what about if you work so hard in that relation, the man abandons you for some other person?
What were you working? What were you doing? Were you
Because that's the
impressing?
question I'm asking, because we
Were
have a
you
lot of
impressing
people who
somebody?
think that they have worked for that relationship and finally did not get to the end point.
This is my point.
Okay. Okay.
You are a university undergraduate.
Okay.
1 year to get in to graduating. Say
Okay.
you're 22, 23, all right, and your classmates come to your house every day, and you don't think that when you eat in the evening you should clean your plate, and you think you have a boyfriend that accepts that. Do you think that boy can ever marry you? Never.
Okay.
Secondly,
So that's your camera.
you don't know you should brush
Okay.
before going to bed, and that guy just peeps. Those are ticks he's putting.
Okay.
You are a man. It's not about washing his clothes. What do you do for yourself?
Okay.
How do you prepare your own self? It's not about already in that marriage or even going for that courtship already. How do you prepare yourself? Listen, a woman will tell you, this is me, I've been in a relationship and this man dumped me for another woman. What didn't you do? Do you understand? You can be in a relationship for 5 years and finally this guy meets somebody for 6 months and get married.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And you ask yourself, I don't ask.
What went wrong?
I'm not
Is
going
it
to
that I'm
ask.
cursed?
That's no. What didn't you do? Or what did you do? The man knows what he wants. Before you got there, did you have these discussions as friends? You're asking me, all right, that's all right. I know you're handsome, I'm beautiful, and I think we can merge. What's your purpose for life? Let's have this heart-to-heart talk.
The man will tell you I have no purpose for life for now. Let's just date.
No, listen.
Some men will tell you that
No,
let's just date.
Listen, the love I had for you goes through the back door and does not come back.
Please,
I'm not going to help you
All
find your
right.
purpose. I'm not
All
going
right.
to help you.
This is a very pertinent
That's
point
what we're
you're trying to bring
talking
out.
about.
It's very pertinent, and I see Clementine is hitting so hard on women. But I want to say, as a man, yeah, you're being too hard on women. As a man, please, there is something. There are women I have seen in relationships who have done their best.
Done your best.
They have good character. They fear God. In fact, they are everything you can think of as far as a wife is concerned.
Okay.
But we have men out here today also who are up there with dubious mindsets.
Okay.
They were like, maybe, that men who want to sleep with a woman, promise the marriage,
Marriage.
Because
promise
that's
the
what you
marriage,
want to hear.
and end up, you see, when they have slept with her, they go looking for another one.
Okay.
So also there are men who are, they are looking for some particular interest. The moment they have that interest fulfilled, some come for your money. They come for the mass money. Some come for. So for me, I keep going back to the issue of premarital counseling. That you work with an independent and objective third party, who is not your mother, who is not your father, who will not support you in anything, who can easily tell you to your face that this thing is wrong, and can easily tell the other person that for this length of time I've been working with you people and this person appears not to be heeding to counsel. It's better you be cautious. You can at times say be cautious, be diligent, take care of what. There are some men who come to you like double dating. They have about several other women. And that is why.
And you do your best in the relationship.
The woman will be putting in your best.
You put in your best at the end of the day.
So I just wanted to interject to say that Clementine was being too hard on women because there are cases in which a woman is actually, she's from my own. I've seen relationships that have ruptured from my own side as a man. I say, but this is what a wife should represent. However, one man's food is another man's poison.
The man who waves aside.
Let me say something.
No, you are really on the right. What you're saying is actually that's a reality. It's needed because as a woman, as a man to marry,
yourself.
You must prepare for marriage. You must prepare.
And ask yourself, you're right for that marriage. You're ready.
You must as a woman, you must make yourself marriable.
What about a young girl? You start a man's asks you out for a date and you ask the man, what's your vision? Now, how do you want this relationship? Now, is it a long-lasting relationship? Because
no.
I want this. Let me learn.
Okay.
The man says, no, let's just date, time is going to tell. And you get into that relationship, maybe, obviously, because you see some love somewhere and you have hopes that it's really something.
Now, do you see where he said, I hate on women? The mother, the woman, the female figure, she is like the Holy Spirit. Okay? She's the one that will define a lot of things. She'll ask you the questions that will make you think. And if she does not govern herself first, she's only going to help other people to fail. You understand? The woman needs to train herself so that by the time you come and ask me out, and then we step out and maybe with the first 1 week, it's okay. The second week, I begin to ask some kind of questions. So I don't get into a disaster. You get the point? I don't want to babysit you. I ask you deep questions. That's what I know where I'm going to. I'm principled.
At times you don't even find answers to those questions.
When I ask you those questions, you can't give me answers. I know this one doesn't have anywhere he's going to. And I'm not ready to go to with somebody. Of course. I don't want to be with somebody who's not going anywhere. Excuse me.
All right.
Why would I be accompanying somebody who is not going anywhere? You're just there. You wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you turn around, you're in between the room and the sitting, you're turning. No. Every day you carry your CV, you're going to look for a job somewhere, and they ask you, what are you going to look for in that place? I want a job. What kind of job? You don't even know.
All right, I want us to get this report. I want us to go to a break. Let's watch this story. We'll be right back. And we're going to talk about now some of the reasons. Now, how to repair these failed relationships. Now, what do we do at the beginning? Let's watch. We'll be right back.
I think a lot of people think that
building and maintaining satisfying relationships is one of the hardest things we do in life. Strong and healthy relationships require dedicated effort, a willingness to learn some essential skills and attitudes, and an ability to change and grow over time. Too many relationships fall apart because people take them for granted and don't pay attention to them. Once the initial courtship is over and the relationship is secured, it is too easy to fall into routine with your partner and focus on other aspects of life. Many relationships fall apart because people simply do not understand what it takes to keep a relationship working for both partners. A relationship is a living thing. It must be tended to, nurtured, and provided with the essential ingredients for survival. Tending to a relationship means that you notice when there is a problem and then you do what you need to do to fix the problem. The health of a relationship can be measured in terms of the degree of connection between two people and the quality of that connection, and to build a strong connection with your partner. You must learn how to talk to each other on an emotional level. You must endeavor to spend time together and to share interests. You must find ways to work with each other to achieve agreed upon goals, and you must attend to the well being of each other. If you don't make a concerted effort to do these things with your partner, the connection between you will weaken and eventually dissolve. Another very important way of nurturing your relationship is truly see your partner as a separate and unique person, not just as a reflection of you. Do you know what is essential to your partner? What are their deepest needs, desires, beliefs? Are you paying close enough attention to see when those things evolve and change? And are you willing to support your partner in their efforts to explore, develop, and grow as a human being? Building and maintaining satisfying relationships. Now, I want to present this problem. We have young girls or women who their relationship don't last. You see a girl, maybe in a year, she has 3 men, she dates 3 men, or a man in a year dates 3 women. Now, what could be the problem?
They are looking for something, and they don't know what they're looking for. In the name of love.
Mm.
It has to start with you. Whether you're a man or a woman, I'm not being hard on the woman anymore. It should be. If the man has been dating women, changing them like that, the question is, what does he want? Because if he does not know, if he has not defined with himself what he's looking for, he will keep changing because he does not even know what he's looking for. Likewise, the woman. Sometimes it's the man that feels her and then she jumps to the next. I'll advise women, when they fail you, pause for a bit, take a break, understand how this, analyze this relationship on your part. Before you go into the next one, you should be able to be clear in your head. Otherwise, you carry the next spirit to the next relationship, and the spirits keep duplicating themselves, and you keep crying every now and then.
Now, Pastor, what are the possible signs for a toxic relationship?
Oh,
I think, let me chip.
Okay, you chip before you come, okay.
Yeah, because at times also, the problem may not always be with the boy and the girl, with the man, woman. At times the problems also are procedural.
Okay.
Yeah, at times the problems are procedural. When a relationship, begins, as in fact there are stages. You have to give it time. You have to go from step to step.
You don't rush it.
But when you end up rushing, there are good relationships that were ruined on the platform of premarital sex, which is discouraged. A man and a woman, you go, and then that sense of guilt starts haunting them, and they find every reason to part. It doesn't necessarily mean that there was a bad boy or a bad girl, but the procedure, they put the cat before the horse.
All right, Pastor. We've had relationship just for 3 months or 6 months to get married, and it's fine. We have relationship that you're there even for 2 years, the man is saying nothing. Now, is it that you sit quiet and you just like you're watching, you want to wait for procedure to move from one step to another?
No, procedure here has to do with, like, in my counsel is always that when you talk of the first stage of a relationship is usually dating. When I say dating, it doesn't have to do with that's a platonic relationship between two people. They want to just familiarize themselves, and in the course of this dating, the man proposes to the woman, and the woman accepts. After that, when the woman gives a yes to his proposal, they enter the next stage, which is courtship.
Okay.
Within which time they are not supposed to start their premarital counseling. So I assign some timelines in principle to say, because there are relationships that they may delay in one stage more than the other. So after this premarital counseling, they go to the next stage, engagement, and then do their traditional marriage. It's supposed to be, this process is supposed to run between that is up to about 1.5 year maximum.
Normally, do we see that today?
nah.
The issue is that we are trying to get people to know that this is actually what is supposed to be done. when you keep
Because
doing-
people have this tendency that let's just do this thing. You know, you're afraid that maybe the man can change his mind, or some other person can take the man. So you just want to get in there.
if you want to rush things so that nobody makes, in primary school, use a packet, if you want to rush things for such reasons, you end up settling for a marriage that is substandard, of which you could follow the procedures and go and end up honorably in a relationship. So the idea of being afraid that this man is going to dub me, surely he was not your man.
Okay.
Yeah, because if a man who was for you will want to follow things rightly. Like women, I always encourage that as a woman, I'm not hitting hard on women.
Okay.
As a woman, you don't sell yourself too cheap to a man.
Okay.
And that's
Make
what many
yourself a
women do.
wife material.
Yes.
By doing
When-
what? You don't sell yourself to cheap. I love the statement.
The fact that the man
By not doing what?
the fact that the man proposed marriage to you does not give you the leeway to lie and become the ties for him to be working on.
Okay.
There are things. Set your principles and show him the honorability in you. By there are people who after a proposals the woman already half of her dresses are in the man's house. His laundry is done by her. His food is cooked by her, and then they've already consummated the marriage, consummated in quotes. So after that, what
else can you offer?
what nice thing is this man wanting to let me finish all this thing fast so that I can like this woman? Yeah, so it's
So
important.
you're trying to tell women that it's not by doing all those things that the man will get you.
No way,
Get
no
married.
way.
So whether you
No.
wash his dresses from morning to midnight,
Wash.
cook food or whatsoever.
You hire a nanny to do that.
Or he can take his dresses to the pressing
That's
if that
it.
is all that or he can eat in a restaurant.
Get a
So
caterer to
there
bring
is
him
more. Or if it's about just the sexuality, he can go to commercial sex entrepreneurs if they're entrepreneurs and have his sexual desire satisfied. There is more to it. And the first and most important factor which God created marriage was companionship.
Okay.
Yeah, companionship is supposed to be at the bottom of it all. When the two of you can be friends, flow together, play your games together, do everything together, it already
Best
lays
of
the
friends.
foundation. Best of friends. Yeah.
When you
you
mess
should-
up, you can share with your partner.
you
with
can
no fear.
share with your partner. You
No
should.
fear.
You
You
should.
should, yes.
share with your partner without fears. Yeah. Such that two of you are, you feel so free with one another. There are times I take call my wife, I say, hey, ground, how you chop your money? Just that kind of, because I feel free with her, But if it is such that the relationship between a husband and a wife is like a student and a discipline master, oh my, we're not talking about
When
marriage
it's coming
again.
your skate, you rush in and you're doing
And
it,
adjust,
and you
sit
adjust
pretend as
and
if you're not doing anything, and it's called marriage. I don't think it's marriage there. So it is very important that all of these things are put in place before you end up tying the knot. I have a publication. Before you say I do, I've tried to point out a few of these things in it, for the fact that people, I think I've about 3 cases already of people who have read my book and say, I've stopped a relationship I was in.
All right.
I thought I was in a relationship, I'm no longer in it again because I was in something thinking I was
Something
moving.
else.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Now,
So-
Clementine, now, what are just those things that you should not do as a woman when you're in a relationship? We're talking about the signs of a toxic relationship. Now, how do you see
Don't
that?
forget your purpose.
Okay.
Don't forget the fact that you are a being with or without a marriage. You have a life. Equip yourself to the brim. Stand out. Be you. Please yourself first before any other person. Be happy with yourself. The things about you don't like, fix them for you. That is equipping yourself to be a wife material, to be a human being, to be a woman, a mother of nations. The world will be waiting for you. You can start and have something to say. Don't be an empty vessel. Who wants to marry an empty vessel today? Equip yourself intellectually, emotionally. Get intelligence. If it has to be bought, buy it. If you desire to get married, read relationship books. Watch relationship movies. Not soap operas from Filipino. No. Watch constructive things and then get the right circle of friends around you.
Okay.
Don't get fallouts. And when you want to engage in a relationship, into a conversation, be constructive, be fine. So that when somebody sees you in the middle of a conversation, they pick you, they handpick you, and like, this one is an icon. Don't just be there, usual, like every other person. Stand out, even in your outfit. Be clean. You want to make up, be wow. You want to speak in public, stand out, and you know what you want to talk about. Don't be, like I said, empty.
Okay.
Because nobody wants an empty vessel.
All right. Pastor, is it possible that you're in a relationship and you know that it's not good for you? Can you walk out of it so fast?
Yeah, before I
Okay.
respond to that, I want to add to what Clementine said. Above all, don't forget to build character. That inner
Of
beauty
course.
is more important than the outer outlook. So I advise very often, if you're in a relationship and it's not going, and you try to fix things, don't only walk out, run out of it.
Like a
Run
jet.
out of, yes.
All
In
right.
fact, get a jet and fly out of that relationship.
Now, how do you read that it's not going to work? There are signs already, right?
There are signs, and these signs can only be detected if you yourself, as Clementine said, you have where you are, you have at least
A
a
vision.
direction where this is where I want to be in life.
The biggest way
And
is communication.
well, communication, you know,
The
if
biggest
two,
is communication.
if two
you
peop-
cannot communicate with your partner, you guys are not going anywhere. If you're not communicating, how will people move?
yeah, but the tendency is you people can communicate, and in the course of the communication, he keeps promising you it's going
No,
to
not
work.
that one. I'm saying that when that's a toxic relationship that you cannot communicate to understand each other. He speaks, you don't understand him. She speaks, you don't understand her. Aka. So how then do you expect to understand when you get
and when he
married?
promises, okay, we're going to, I'm sorry, he apologized, it's time, it's okay, I'm sorry,
be all right.
it's going to be all right.
Come
And what
on.
you do?
And you find yourself in that same cycle, that vicious cycle. You keep finding yourself. If you find that it is not going, and the signs will be there clearly, you will find that this, you are first and foremost, you are not getting the satisfaction. Secondly, it is not appearing to be a plus to you. For instance, if you're a Christian, you enter a relationship with a Christian, must make sure your Christian life is
It should be
summarized.
climbing.
If you if you're an intellect, don't give somebody who drains energy from you. It should be a relationship that keeps you boosted. You feel that you should
Alive.
keep
You're
moving.
sharing.
You have the
And you're
impetus
growing.
to keep
Okay.
moving ahead.
Yeah.
If not, you have every reason to run out that relationship.
Right, which means men as well as women are affected by such
Of
relationships.
course.
Both men and
Of
women.
course.
All right. Now, how do we come out? Now, what are the things that you could help a feeling relationship? If somebody comes to you with a problem, you are a marriage counselor. You advise not. Do we advise the person to divorce? Run,
The
as
first
you're
of
saying?
things is usually to discuss and get information. It starts from there. When you get information, you can easily do a diagnosis of what is going wrong.
And
or
how
what
do you do
went
follow
wrong.
up?
Follow up of
After the counseling, how did you follow up with the couple and the rest? Is it possible?
you keep touch with them. You keep touch, especially those I always want to have them be close to them, talk with them often, and get them like I could hope your husband you kept your husband very fine, and, those kind of things, so that it reminds somebody all the time that there's a role I have to play. Because one thing also in very important relationships has to do with role. The expectations that
The role of the
relationship
man
set
and the role of the woman.
of the woman. Make sure you play your role with all your sincerity. Those who do equity, they say he who seeks equity should come with clean hands.
Okay.
Yeah, if you are complaining, make sure you're doing your own part actually reasonably, not 100%, but reasonably.
All right. Can we know about your book and where can we possibly lay hands on it? Those who want to read.
All right, my book, before you say
The
I
publications.
do, yeah, the first publication I had was Ownership and Stewardship in Christendom. That was the first I launched in 2013.
Okay.
And then this one, Before You Say I Do, the English version, I launched it in May 2017, and then the
Okay.
French version in February this year. Yeah, the book has been, wow.
Now, how do you get the book? Can you have it online? Is it possible?
Look, for now, it is the process putting on Amazon is ongoing, and then the Wisdom Book Mart, and you can contact. I think my contact is somewhere there.
All right,
and
you're
then
advising, okay.
reconciliation, yeah,
You're advising everybody to,
very, very important.
to read.
The book has the feedback has blown my mind. I thought I was writing a book, and I didn't know I was writing a tool.
All right. Now, what's
Yeah,
your
for
last word
relationships.
to couples or to every other person that is watching you right now?
My last word, please, let's take marriage issues very, very seriously. Marriage has to do with a lifetime engagement. So we must take them seriously. A marriage is not a taxi you want to enter and say, oh, mine is okay, I want to drop here. It is a lifetime engagement that you have to really take seriously, and you get committed to it, because good marriages don't just happen, they are worked for. It's true, the grace of God will be there to guide you people, but your part has to be played. You have to work, you have to be committed.
All right, Clementine, you're now based in Douala.
Yes.
Now, can we know more about your relationship counselor?
Yes.
Now, how do you get to you?
Getting to me, my office is at Makepe,
Okay.
Carrefour, how do they call it? Happy Spore.
Okay.
I'm still learning places in Douala.
Okay.
Carrefour Happy Spore, the building Immeuble La Vie Zoe. That's my office.
All right, you just want everybody who has problems, relationship problems, to come to
Relationship
you.
problems, even for business coaching.
Okay.
Yes, I do business coaching, I do relationship counseling.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, now, what's your last word to those watching you right now?
Those who are watching right now, I don't know if you had what you were expecting, but I want to tell you, your relationship is based on the rules and regulations you put. Nobody's going to put them for you. Know what you're expecting before you get into the relationship, and when you get into it, stand strong. Don't be tilted by the wind.
All right, I want to thank you all for responding to our invitation to you out there. If you did watch the program, we're talking about relationship problems. I'm sure you got something in the program of today. Turn Up is the name of the program. Thanks for watching.